What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Welcome to some Forza Horizon 5 with a new car to this game. I generally did not think this was a new car added into this game. I knew that we were going to get it. I saw the actual festival playlist reward for this Aston, but I never really thought anything about it. I was like, yeah, cool, it's this thing. I feel like we've had this in the game before. This car hasn't actually been in this game. This is a Forza Horizon 4 car, which is very surprising to me. So this is a Vanquish Zagato Coupe. Super, super cool car. I'm pretty sure they made a shooting brake of one of these as well. I think I kind of would have liked that a little bit more, but again, it's a little... I don't know what I'm going to do, actually. It's a little bit too out there for me to ask for a shooting brake when they've already had this model in the previous game. So, you know, recyclable content, pretty much. These are the stats for it. 595 horsepower, 630 newton meters of torque, 1,765 kilos. It's got a 5.95, almost a 6-liter V12 in it. It sounds glorious. Not as glorious as you'd expect because it is an Aston, so it doesn't really want to be too loud and obnoxious and crazy like the old Italians, but it still sounds quite good. This is how you get it, by the way. You just, for your overall series progress, just get yourself your 80 points. That's why I was looking at this. I was like, ah, cool. The Aston Vanquish, this is already in the game. It just isn't. It just is not in the game. So yeah, obviously, I ended up getting this thing. I've had someone say that why don't I just make a video on this thing, and I was like, because it's not a new car. And then I went on the game and I realized that it is actually a new car. So I'm sorry, people in the comments of my previous videos that I've said to try this car out, and I basically just said no because it's not new. It is new to this game. And, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. It's a nice car. It's a beautiful car, first of all. It's not just a nice car, it's a beautiful car. I haven't really done anything to this one, so I'm just kind of just enjoying it stock. Big V12, lots of torque. In third gear, it just pulls hard. Sorry, it pushes hard. This thing is rear-wheel drive. It's a beautiful car, man. Zagato makes some crazy, crazy cars. Like, they just take already beautiful cars like the Astons and they just make them even more beautiful. Look at the shape of it. Like, it's so sick. Have they done anything to the interior of this thing? I don't remember if they have. I don't think they have. I'm pretty sure this is pretty much standard Aston interior. Pretty much, I think, just the exterior is some crazy and unique changes. I'm always intrigued by how Aston have their tack, right? So the RPM going the opposite way of their speedo. I always found that very, very interesting. This is just an Aston thing from what I've noticed. I do also know that infotainment system is incredibly old. The screen in the middle, I'm pretty sure, is from like an old Volvo. So it's funny to see that still in these cars. This is a 2017 car as well, so yeah. So ideally what I want to do with this thing is I want to do some stuff to it. I want to mess around with this thing and basically see what it's like. It's a 6-liter V12. Just add a bunch of stuff to it. See how powerful we can get this thing to be and see how pretty much extreme we can get this car to actually be. I also love this thing about Aston doors. It's the way that the doors open kind of upwards. Right, they do open outwards like normally, but they go a little bit upwards, if you can see what I'm talking about. Just subtly, but it's just nice. Like, the hinge is just really, really cool. What a weird thing to say. I like the hinge on this door. But yeah, pretty much a fancy GT car that's even more extreme in terms of rareness and just looks as well. It's a beautiful car. All right, let's do stuff to it. Let's see what's available to be done to this thing. We can put the 7-liter V12 in it, which I'm not going to do. We can twin turbo this engine, which we're going to make this thing have a lot of power if we do so, so I'm going to do that. Disgusting Forza Aero for the front and the rear, of course. I'm not going to do anything there. As for the old wheels, I wonder if we can lower this. I wonder if this can go nice and low. What Aston did we... I made a video on an Aston in the past where it was able to get like really, really low in the game, especially with the... Was it the DBS? I think it might have been the DBS Superleggera, right? I made a video on that thing and just to see what it's like fully lowered, because I don't really expect this car to be like that crazy. I also don't want to drift it because I feel like it'll be a bit boring. If I put race parts on it, maybe you can try and race it, but then at the same time, I can like try and maybe like power build this thing, but then again, I do actually, I think, need to and just swap this thing. How much power can we squeeze out of this, by the way? How much power is this gonna have? Flywheel was unnecessary. 1092 horsepower and 1100 newton meters of torque. Interesting. And then if you go over to the other engine, which I'm pretty sure it's from the... Is it from a Valkyrie? Am I wrong in saying that? Can't remember 100% if it's from the Valkyrie or not. 991, so not as much power out of this engine, but it is a racing engine, I'm pretty sure, so it's a little lighter, if I'm not mistaken. Interesting. Let's slap everything back onto this car again with the standard engine. Like I said, we'll see what we can do with this in terms of handling. Like I said, I don't really want to take this thing drifting, but I will put just a smidge on it afterwards. I do want to race it a little bit though, just to see what it's like. Keep this thing as a rear-wheel drive and just see what it's capable of. Just with the parts that I can slap on it. Alright, I think I'm done with it. It's not necessarily a power build, but I did give it as much power as I possibly could and left it as a rear-wheel drive. So now, those are pretty much the stats for it. I actually had to add a little bit of weight back onto it again. I'm going to mess with the tune on this thing, and then I'm going to take it out racing. Again, aero is just not going to be there with this car, because if I add aero to it, it'll immediately just be worse. Let me show you pretty much what I'm talking about here. So if I go to this, and I do this... Sorry, it won't be worse, but it'll look worse. However, it will also bring my stats way up higher than what it should be. As in my specs for the class that it's in. Whoops, I'm about to set up. So now, I'm going to slap a little bit of tune onto this thing, because everything is adjustable, and I'll be right back. I'm actually very intrigued to see what this thing drives like. I'm not expecting it to be like really good handling wise, but I'm definitely expecting it to be fast. It's not actually that bad. I think aero would definitely make a noticeable difference on this car. I want to try a dual run with this car in S1 and see what happens. Something like a sprint race. See whereabouts in the world can I position myself. I also need to turn off that drift cam. When I'm racing with drift cam, it's just so funny how delayed the camera is. It just kind of just doesn't stick to the back of the car. I mean, the grip is kind of sort of there. It's not that crazy, but it is there. Okay, cool. Let me do stuff. Let me go on a bit of a drive here. Aerodromo, or we go with the linear stair sprint. Pick one. Let's go on the Aerodromo sprint. We'll go into S1. I think I'm gonna get absolutely demolished by whatever car I've used here in the past. The NSX is hella OP, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat the NSX in terms of sheer performance. I think I'm gonna fall way behind with this thing, because that is a very, very OP car. So let's try and position myself maybe with this guy as my rival. If I can try and beat him, try to see if we can squeeze the top 1000 time with this car. I don't know if it's possible or not, but I still want to give it a shot and see. Because like I said, top speed wise with this thing, it's not that bad. I think I can do like 240, 250 miles an hour with this tune that I have on now. I think I can get it to go even faster if I change it a little bit more. Same steering, yep, cool. Since I'm putting loads of power to the rear wheels, I'll have to be very careful with my throttle when accelerating. So I have to be very, very careful with the way I drive this car. It definitely wants to slip from underneath me. It doesn't turn in fast enough. It does not turn in fast enough, even though I've made it so it does. I think it just slips, I just went a bit too fast. Okay. That was a slightly better start. Oh my god. Better cornering, much better. I have to remember I'm not in a race car, this is just a GT car. And I kind of slapped a bunch of parts on it. Come on. Use your power. Catch the Porsche. Oh my god, it's so squirrely. It is very squirrely. I definitely expected this thing to be a little bit better. The class that it's in is pretty much at the top of S1, which feels like it could be a little bit better, of a better car. And I'm not that far off the Porsche. The Porsche is basically almost top 1,000 in the world. I mean, obviously my tune isn't perfect, but at the same time, how much more can I really squeeze out of this car, you know? Without jumping it up into without jumping it up into S2. This is like almost like a power build, but not really. I did try to squeeze out as much power as I possibly can on this car, whilst maintaining an S1 class with it. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it for just regular racing. I just don't think it'll be very competitive against other cars. Again, if I slap the aero on it, it'll jump into the S2, which means I have to either reduce the power or I'm gonna have to add more weight, and then it's just gonna change the handling even more. I don't know. I don't know if this car would actually be good for like racing or anything like that. I think it's more for a car that you just want to like drive around for looks, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hop over into the festival. I'm gonna put on the drift suspension. I'm gonna lower it and just have a nice sleek look to this car. Right. I also ended up changing the wheels to these like multi-spoke HREs, which I think suit this car a lot. That makes it look really classy. You can't actually get bigger wheels, which is a little bit surprising with it, but you can lower it and it looks kind of like this now. Also, what I want to do now is bring it over onto one of my maps where I have created to basically make cars even lower by adding gravity to them and basically pressing the cars down. That looks clean. I like that. It's not too low where it just looks ugly and it looks like just stands out, but it's just low enough where there's not like massive clearance. Oh, that looks so clean. That looks really clean. I also painted the brake calipers red. Damn, that is a sexy car. Oh my god. Driving with the gravity multiplier on is so weird. Such a weird feeling. That is incredibly clean. That is incredibly clean. Looks really, really good. The fitment is like almost spot on. I guess I wish you could get slightly bigger wheels. That is the only unfortunate thing. But that is a beautiful, beautiful car. This has got to just make Aston Martins look even more appealing and even more extreme. Like, look at the detail in that taillight though. That's insane. Looks so good. Cool. Well, I love this thing. I mean, obviously you can't really do too much to it, but I love it just in terms of if you want to just get a car and like cruise, if people do that sort of stuff in this game. Just going around and cruising with it, it's so sick. It is beautiful. Well, I'm gonna answer the video. Well, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you've built this thing for anything else, maybe it's actually quite good for drifting, or maybe it's good for off-roading for whatever reason. Let me know down in the comments below what you've built this thing for yourselves, and maybe I'm down to try it out in a different video. But for now, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of take a quick little, like, first look at this car. Even though I thought it wasn't a new car, it technically is a new car to this game. Anyway, regardless, thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.